Living in a country like Turkey as a Syrian is worse than living in the United States of America as a black person in the 18th century. Like, just the amount of things that happened to me in that country, I could make about 100 videos. I'm not saying all Turkish people are bad, okay? But finding a nice-hearted Turkish person is just like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Arriba! What it do, big ducks? It's your boy Kroll, back with another video. Just to clarify, I don't hate Turkey, okay? I kinda do. And I'm not saying hate on Turkish people as well. But today I will just be talking about my experience in that country and one of the many things that have happened to me in it. I have met a lot of nice Turkish people, but most of them are not to people's likings. Like, there was 2 attempts of my kidnapping in Turkey just because I was a Syrian. There are a lot of attempts to many things, one of them including murder. Not to me, but to other people. Today's story won't be about kidnapping. I will do that if you guys want me to, but for now, it's not going to be that. So let's get into the video. The intro is kinda long. I'm sorry about that. Like I said in the beginning, living in Turkey as a Syrian is close to impossible. The amount of racism you might face, the amount of hate, people will just pick fights with you. I went to Turkey at the age of 5 years old and I knew nothing about life. I lived there for about 4 years, so I lived there until I was 9 years old and then I moved. But in those 4 years, I have faced hell in Turkey. We all know a person based on the way they look. For example, we might guess someone is from Africa based on the way they look. We might guess someone is from this specific country because we know how those people look. That's kind of the same with Turkey and Syrians. And so you could guess if a Turkish person looks at you and knows that you're a Syrian, it is not gonna turn out well. Like, you might imagine someone in grade 1 as a 5-year-old might have fun in school. But for me, it was a completely different experience. Keep in mind, I've never went to school in Syria. And going to school for the first time, not knowing the language, not knowing anyone, not having friends, and people hating you, including the teacher, by the way, will definitely not turn out good for you. Like, even the first day of school, I swear, I remember it like it was yesterday. 4 people, which were in my class, by the way, and I was trying to go out for recess. So one of them, which was named Bilal, he held me from my shirt and I couldn't do anything. So I just sat there and started crying. I only knew like 5 words in Turkish. One of them was üzgünüm. And so as I started crying, he looked at me and then he just kind of felt bad or didn't want to draw attention. So he started üzgünüm, and then he just left me. So then once teacher saw me crying, I love you, Fatma teyze, she kind of just felt bad for me and then took me with her. She started saying words which I did not understand and I do not remember. And she took me and gave me lunch, which I thank you for that. Now, things like this kept happening throughout the year and I just ignored them. Until a year later in grade 2. My mom asked me for groceries, and so as a nice son, I listened to her and I go to get her groceries. Now, for people who aren't familiar with Turkish streets, they're mostly uphill and downhill. This is a good example. And so I go down the streets to get her groceries, and instead of walking down them carefully, what I do is run, like literally sprint down there. It's fun, but also dangerous. And so I'm exhausted and I just want to get it over with. And you know, if you have to go back, it's gonna be uphill, so I'm gonna be even more tired. So I keep walking to the store and I stop to take a rest because I'm exhausted. If I walk 2 more steps, I'm gonna have a kidney failure. And I don't want that. So then I look across the streets where the store is. I see a Turkish boy that looks like my age, a bit older and a bit bigger. So I know that there will be problem because I have to face this in Turkey every single day. And this person surprisingly looks at me in a really bad way. And what's a man to impress more than a girl? He has a girl right next to him as well. I don't know if it's his sister or his girlfriend. May they be happy together. And remember, I'm standing. And what's worse than an eye contact towards somebody that fucking hates your guts? I mean, there can be a worse situation, right? And what I hate about me is when I look at somebody, I lock my eye contact on them until they look somewhere else. I cannot be the one defeated because it shows me weak. I don't know my mindset at all, to be honest. And so after I prepare mentally, I have to go past him. And so I walk and then I get next to him. He just looks at me, comes to me, and I'm walking still, by the way. He puts his arm around my neck and tries to tackle me to the ground. So all I do is put my leg behind his and then just push him slightly. And then he falls to the ground and you can see his face expression pissed and the evil is in his eyes. But my mom expects me to be home soon. And so I laugh it off, making me seem friendly, and then I keep walking to the store. I do expect something else when I'm back, by the way. But what I expected to happen happened earlier than it should have. This guy was so mad that he comes to me, holds me from my shirt, turns me back, and then just keeps punching me in the straight nose. I fall to the ground, my eyes all blurry, and my nose is bleeding. He sees me like that, and then he just runs away. But you see, I'm a person that never lost a fight. And then I became a wasp. I literally memorized every feature this guy had on his face. I wanted my revenge. I'm not gonna be beat by some coward who couldn't even fight me face to face. So I go to the store, get the stuff, and then I go back home. And then I literally, for the next 3 weeks, go out every single day to look for this guy. Until one day, destiny makes us meet again. And I swear, I'm not even lying when I say the anger in my eyes, the happiness in my heart cannot be described. The first time, when I came down the hill, I was tired, so I couldn't chase after him. But that time, with all my might, with every single piece of strength God gave me, I run after this coward and he gets caught. I put him to the ground and I literally start laughing out of happiness. And I'm not even kidding when I say, with every single piece of strength God gave me, I start trying to hurt this guy with any way I can. It got so bad that this guy's ears were bleeding. His nose is broken, his mouth is bleeding, and I kept going and going. Until I was satisfied, I stood up and looked at this guy's face. It was a mess. Honestly, I was terrified, okay? I was scared of the dude, and I was scared of what I've caused. And as a Syrian person in a country that don't like Syrians, so I ran back home. Because this kid was crying and I didn't want him to draw attention to us. So then I get home safely, I don't know anything about the kid, and I stopped going to school for a while. Because a Turkish person most likely has an older brother that would beat the absolute crap out of you. And so fearing that, I wouldn't go even outside much to play literally around the house. And so a week goes by and my mother surprisingly runs out of bread and asks me to get some. Now I resist with all my mighty because I know now I'm a target by this person or by someone that's older than him that is related to that guy. I try everything but nothing works and my mom insists that I get the bread. And so I listen to her because I don't want to get my ass whooped. And I go to the same store to buy this bread. And well, guess who's waiting for me there? Remind you, I just turned 7 years old. And the same guy with his brother, and surprisingly, I did do him badly because you cannot recognize his face. He has band-aids all over his face, even his ears. And I swear to God, once he sees me, it's like he hit the jackpot. And it's an open street. So as soon as I get in, as soon as I have eye contact with this guy, he will notice that there is somebody. And as a curious human being, you will look to see who is there. So to his brother, he looks at him and he starts pointing at me. And he starts cussing me in Turkish. And I just run like I've never ran before. His brother looks 14, 15. And as a 7-year-old, I cannot defend against that guy. And thankfully, I had a head start. So I had two options. If I wanted my family absolutely destroyed, I could go home and get my family absolutely destroyed by these people. Or I can run around, couple of neighborhoods, couple of streets until I lose them. And as a person with dignity who does not want harm for his family, I used the safer option for my family. Plus, I had a head start, so they couldn't catch up to me. So then I did what any normal person that has fear for his family would. So then I'd go right, left, until I'm sure that I've lost these people. I also waited a bit in case I encounter them again and I have to run, and to recover some energy, went back home after about 5 minutes after I was literally sure that they couldn't find me, and I told my mother everything that had happened. So then my mother understood the danger I might be in, and she would make my brother or father go get the groceries instead. And thankfully, 2 months later, we moved houses and I was safe. I would list this as one of the scariest things that ever happened to me. And I promise you, if this guy caught me, we don't know what would have happened to me. Lesson learned, don't mess with people who you know would kill you. And if you're ever in a situation, even when you're mad, choose the less dangerous option. Don't let your anger be a reason for your harm. And I hope you got the idea. Peace out, big dogs.